Hey there, folks. Welcome back to another part of my thing where I am making a Tetris data extractor. Okay, last time was a long time ago, and we actually got to the point where we can read a Tetris screen from the command line using this program that I wrote. So I want to expand from that, but the first thing we have to do is, or what I had to do off camera, is to take everything from Windows and throw it onto Linux, because that's the actual operating system I will be running this software on. And I didn't want to develop in VS Code because that was a bit more difficult when we were running tests, and so I used Visual Studio, and now I'm back in Linux and I have to use code again, but that's okay because most of the structure of the code base is set up. So that being said, let's remind ourselves what we had. So I have this screenshot here, and it's got data, and I can open up my command line here. You probably can't see that because, of course, it's super small. So we'll bump the font up somehow in a way. Oh my goodness. There. Okay, let's go to the directory where we have this stuff. It was the Tetris tools, and we're just gonna come on. There it is. So I can go .net Tetris tools .dll, and I'm going to give it a file name, which I have in shared screenshot2.png. Enter, boom. So there it goes. We've got the score, 9120, the level, the lines, and all this stuff is the same. So what I want to do is, now that we have this working, I want to test it out with some other screenshots. In order for me to do that, though, I need some more screenshots from the game. So I brought down my Nintendo. We're going to play some Tetris. We're going to have some screenshots of some more advanced parts of the game, like when the score gets really high. And I'm going to try and do this all through the capture card because I don't want to lug down my television. So we'll see how good I go. So let's grab some screenshots to test this stuff out. And I'm just going to do that in VLC. So I think, here we go. And maybe I can double it. There we go. Now, how do you take a screenshot? Take snapshot. Excellent. Okay. I better play on a very low level. So we'll start at level 15. The controls are very janky because everything is I can't do this. There's no way I can do this. This isn't working. I can't play Tetris like this. Well, here, let's take this snapshot here. Okay, let's just see if we can read that. This was the one. Let's bring this over into shared. Okay, let's see if we can run this. Screenshot 3. What? That's the old one. That's 2. That's not even real. What's happening? Huh? You guys, sometimes computers don't behave properly, but sometimes I think they're aliens who are possessing my computer telepathically from their home planet. And this shouldn't. I don't understand this. Okay, let's bring that back over into pictures then. It's pulling up the old. Oh, I know why. My bad. That's my bad. What I was doing here, back in Visual Studio Code here, let's get rid of this. I had hard-coded this. I'd hard-coded it because I was testing. Okay, so let's bring that back. We'll build this. Okay. So now this should work. But now I got rid of it. Oh my word. Oh, it's there already. Okay, screenshot 3. There we go. Okay, screenshot 3. Is this right? 640 score, level 15, one line, 4443331. Okay, so we're good. I wish I could play through my capture card until later levels, but that's probably not something that anybody can do. So we'll just leave that for now. So what I want now is to introduce a concept called lazy loading. And the reason is because we want the information we ask from the Tetris data model, we want it to go as quickly as possible. So I want to make it load the data lazily. And what that means is, if we go to, what is it? Screen reader. No, not screen reader. Come on. Yes, a data extractor. Okay, so the data extractor gets all data for a, excuse me, a bitmap. And it saves that information. So it calculates the level and the lines, the score, and all that stuff. And it's great. The problem is each one of these takes a lot of time. And so what we're going to do is I also want to treat this as a one-to-one class to screenshot so that we can get information from it as we see fit. So if I want the level only, all I do is I'll take this class and I'll say, what's the level? And it doesn't calculate the lines or the score or all the piece counts. It just calculates the level. And then once it calculates the level, it stores it. So if I ask for the level a second time, it doesn't calculate it again. It just retrieves it. And that's what's called lazy loading. And so we have to change the concept of what a data extractor is. So it is a data extractor for sure. But right now my constructor, you can create a data extractor without providing a screenshot. And then you can just say, hey, by the way, here's a screenshot. So what I want to do is I'd like to change this so that it's actually a wrapper. The class is a wrapper around the screenshot. So it can't exist without a screenshot, and no screenshot will exist without it. And so and I want to move this route because of some other fancy ideas that I have in the future and I'm really excited about, but I have to have this as a one-to-one relationship between a data extractor and a screenshot. Because the way it is now, I can make one data extractor and just use it as a rubber stamp on a whole bunch of screens, and that's great, but I can't save any of that data for quick retrieval. So we're going to change this slightly, and I'm going to have to do some thinking here. Oops, that doesn't... Where's my... There's a shortcut to collapse all of your sections, and I don't know what it is in VS Code. So, okay, whatever. Okay, so right now the data extractor needs a screen reader and an image reducer and positions. And that's fine. I also want, though, to add to it the screenshot itself. So I'm not quite sure how AutoFac is going to deal with this. So let's just make sure we can run it first. Okay, so there's that. We're going to debug it. Just make sure that this works. Oh, I didn't actually set args0 to anything. Of course not. Let's go back to screenshot 2. Okay, we'll run this. And the output's going to be down here at the bottom of the screen. It's a little bit small, though. There it is. Let's see if we can't increase this. Settings. Terminal. We're getting there. Oh, come on. Okay, I'm going to go to the internet's VS Code, increase font size in terminal. half my life is just Googling how to do things in my tools. I don't want... Here. Oh, come on. So terminal integrated font size is actually a thing. Okay. Close this down. Oh, right there. It's right there. Okay. 18. That's what we like. So now I can open a new terminal. There we go. Okay, so this works as it is. Now we're going to make some changes and it'll hopefully still work. So data extractor right here. Okay, I'm going to add to this a screenshot. So you will not be able to make a data extractor without a screenshot. Let's line these things up. That's fine. Okay, so that's there. Now, this would complain to us, but I want to see how it's going to complain to us. I'm not interested in the output right now. It says, none of the constructors can be found invoked with the available service and parameters. The screenshot. So it can't resolve the screenshot, and we know that. Take a look at the resolve method of the autofac. See, this version of resolve allows us to enter in some parameters. That might be what we want. So let's do that. Let's see if that works. So I'm going to say new parameter. I'm not even sure what this class, the structure of this class is. It's just an abstract. Oh my goodness. I don't think this is it. Ah, no. I lost my font sizes again, didn't I? Everything looks okay. Why does it look so small? Okay, no, that's not it. Okay, we're going to have to go to autofac, do some Googling, how to use this crazy autofac. So autofac, resolve, type, and supply parameters at the same time. Passing parameters to resolve. Interesting. So if it's a config, so you do a new named parameter, and that's why parameter was abstract. But I can do a new named parameter. I don't even have to do it in an array. Let's just do this. So I could say a new named parameter, and the name of it is going to be screenshot. And the value is going to be new bitmap this thing. It's a little more clunky. And then I don't, just do this. We're not going to do anything with the output. I just want this to not die. So let's put a breakpoint there. So now we're telling Autofac, hey, give me a data extractor. And by the way, you're going to need this additional parameter because I didn't register it. So here you go. And this is going to be okay. So we do have a data extractor, and it's going to be awesome. Okay. Yes. Now the question I have is, when I registered my classes, I set an instance per lifetime scope on all these things. That might be an issue, because if I have two screenshots in the same program and I resolve them, no, it should be fine, because I'm passing in a different parameter. It's got to be a different instance. Okay, so that's actually how we're going to call it. That's good. Okay, let's go back to data extractor. Now that this is working, we're going to add a private. We're going to save this into a private variable. Yes, it'll be read-only. We're not going to change it. Okay, so now we've saved it. And I want to be careful not to put too many things in this class. See, right now we have this idea of a Tetris data model, which is fine. I think it's okay. I think the Tetris data model class might become redundant at some point. All right. So what I really want to do is we are going to have a series of properties. So on the data extractor, what? I feel like I've come across this before. And then I formatted my computer. Every time I'm in the editor and I hit tab, it goes over to a different part of the editor. It doesn't actually do the tab key. Does not insert it down. Oh, interesting. I must have accidentally hit Control M at some point. Okay, now I can do tabs. Who would ever use that setting? All right, a data extractor. Here we go. Oh my goodness. Now a Tetris data model is this. And I'm wondering if I could just make that abstract and use it. I don't know, there are a few ways we could do this. I think what I'd really like to do is change the data extractor class and probably get rid of the Tetris data model class. Anyway, okay, what we're going to do, this is the way we get the number of Z pieces. And so what we're going to have, we're going to change this. We're going to have a private int Z number. That's fine. And then we're going to say public int Z number. This is actually going to be a nullable. This will not be nullable. So nullable just means it can hold a number or a null value, which is not 0. It's not an actual number. It's just an empty placeholder. And that's going to let us determine if we've actually figured this out before, because it's very different from not ever having calculated your score to actually having your score be 0 at the moment. So in the olden days, they'd say, you know, set it to -1 to specify that it hasn't been set yet, but we're going to use a nullable int because we can. Okay, so public int Z number. This is going to this will be a property this time, and when we get it, we're going to return Z number or Z number equals get Z number. Okay, set. No, there's not going to be a set. What's wrong with this? Must be a variable. It is. Do I have to do this? What's wrong with this? Because get Z number no longer needs the screenshot. What was this? Okay, the screen information model has to be saved as well. And then what we're going to do is we're going to do it in the constructor. Actually, whoops, no. We're not going to do it in the constructor. What kind of stuff did it have? Full height, full width, reduced height, reduced width, and the positions. Okay, we're going to lazy load this as well. I think it's... This will have to be cleaned up. This is getting out of hand. So and then we're going to say so what I'm going to do is I'm going to check to see if it's been set. If it's not equal to null, whenever I ask for get information model, it's going to return my original thing that I had. Otherwise, we're going to set it. And our screen information model equals this. And then we'll return screen information model. So every time you call get information model, and actually we don't need this. Because we've got it saved. It's going to look at its private variable and it's going to say, okay, have I done this before? If I've already done this before, here you go, just take it. If I haven't, then I'm going to go through the process of calculating the screen information model and then return it to you. So we can always call this method now, knowing that we'll only ever calculate it once. And that's good. So now in here, I don't need this either. I can say info model equals get, come on, screen information model. Get information model. Ugh. Okay. And now I need the screenshot, which is there. And that's fine. So this is how I get that. You know, I think I might just change this. Let's delete this. This is kind of silly. We'll do a simpler lazy load. If z number dot has value return z number. Otherwise, dot value. Otherwise, z number equals this, and we return z number. Okay, so when an integer is known as a primitive type, it's just a number. So to specify that it can be null, it's a special kind of data type called a nullable int, and it can't be used as an integer normally can. So when I call get z number, I want an integer. You know, null is not proper. I am never ever in any way going to ask the screenshot of a Tetris game, hey, how many Z pieces have I gotten? The answer is null. No, that's not legitimate. It's a number. It has to be a number. It could be 0, but it's not null. And so this method has to return an integer. Now, Z number, the private variable, can be null. And so we specify, I could have done this if Z number is not equal to null. That's legitimate. It's the same way of doing the same thing. But nullable integers have a special property called has value, and that just tells you if it actually has a value or it's null. And if it has a value, you have to return the value property of it if you actually want a real integer. So this is, if it's null, it's actually going to calculate it, assign it to Z number. Now this is an integer, a real integer, and it's assigning itself to a nullable integer, which is fine. You can do that. You just can't go the other way. And here we're returning the value of Z number, the private variable. So actually, I think I could do this. Yeah, I could, no, let's not do that. I could do something sort of fancy with some brackets, but whoops. Okay, so that's Z number. So now this is actually a public property, and I don't really want it to be called get Z number. I just want it to be called Z number. So now I can ask a Tetris data extractor for the Z number, and that's going to give it to me. Okay, so now I have to do the same thing for all of these. So bear with me. This will... this will take a bit of time. This is T. This is T. We get the information model, and we ask for T. Oh, and I gotta make sure that I'm asking for the point on the screen that represents the T value. Here we go, private int T number. Okay, that's fine. All right, let's, we got a few things to do here. Let's do the S. That's an S. That's an S. That's an S. Return S. So a lot of these things, I mean, it's some things about software development are kind of boring, but everyone needs that downtime. This is where you'd like listen to music or something. Why can't this work? What? Oh, because I have it as a parameter up here. You know what I'd like to do? I'd like to actually turn these into properties. There's not much difference between a method and a property. But conceptually, there's a difference. Yeah, that's what I want to do. So this is a public int t number, and it's going to be a property. And I'm going to do this, cut that, insert there. There we go. All right, let's do the S. Woohoo! Actually, I wonder if IntelliSense can do it for me. Can I just right click and say like refactor this to, no. Probably in Visual Studio I would be able to. Okay. So I hope you're having a super great, fun, awesome time. I just got a Twitch notification that a September 2020 CTM Masters is happening. Always one of my favorite events of the month. And we're nowhere near done. Okay, I think I might try and just copy all of this. Say, look, this is O. So let's just, it's going to complain because I already have O's. But if I change all of this, O, O, got to be really careful with copy paste. It's very easy to make a mistake, especially when you're working with different, like within a class. If I make a mistake, it's not going to affect so much, but you know, I've had different, at work, different services, like entirely different code bases where you copy code from one to the other and forget to change some names, and then the service is run advertised as a different service, and yeah, that's not really great. Okay, this is L. Copy paste really shouldn't. Why is this? Huh? Oh, because all of this stuff is... Right. Because I didn't... Okay. I just had extra code that stopped everything from working. What was I saying? Copy paste. It's an art, that's for sure. It's not needed as much anymore, especially with source control. Templates, you can do a bunch of stuff in a template and then create new projects from that template, and it's yeah. Oh, I see, that's why that happened. That's okay. So now I'm on to J. If you're wondering how I can be so excited about Classic Tetris Monthly Masters event and not be currently watching it, because I don't have 6 hours during the day to spend time on that. So I watch the VODs throughout the week when I'm actually doing the dishes. I got things to do, people. I can't sit and wait for 6 hours. Okay, we've got, this will be the the I piece. Okay. I. This is what's known in the business as refactoring. And a good refactoring session shows you as a developer where your holes are. You usually are not creating new functionality. Am I done? 6, 7. Sweet. Okay, let's do lines. We'll do it. The only thing that's different is it's just lines. I think we're okay. I can't remember what I'm saying anymore. I keep getting distracted. Whoops. Oh yeah, refactoring. You're usually not creating any functionality changes. You're just cleaning up the code and making it act better. So that's where your a different kind of test called an integration test really works well. I haven't written any legitimate tests for these tools because there's not. Level. This was the level. There's not too many things I can test. So my idea was at the end of this just to create a huge series of integration tests for various, gather like 100 different screenshots and ensure they all work. Okay. Oops. Okay, so that's level. Okay, score needs to come along for, oh no. Score needs to come along for the ride. So let's copy this. Score. Okay, now that score's there, I can actually get rid of this get lines. This method was just because I knew I wanted to just maybe get the lines from a screenshot and not everything else. And because nothing was lazy loaded, I had to make this method. But now that things are lazily loaded, I don't need that anymore. I can just ask for lines the proper way. So there we go. Get all data. I don't know. Yeah, this would be easy. Not easy. This would be useful, I guess. I'm just trying to think if this would be useful just to get me everything. This kind of looks weird. Level equals level. These are two very different things. This level is the property on the Tetris data model. How do I go back? I can't go back. Alt control back. Okay. And this level is the property on the data extractor. So they're two very different things. But the color highlights, because they're both properties, they're both colored the same thing. So it looks a little strange. That you think that that's like a tautology or something. Like, of course, level equals level. Or why are you assigning level to itself? And the fact is, I'm not. In fact, I don't know what happens if you assign a variable to itself. Let's find out. Bar. Oh yeah, int t equals 5, and then in here we can go t equals t. It's going to give me a squiggly and say, you know what? Did you mean to do something else? This is legitimate, but absolutely useless. So it gives you a yellow squiggly line. So that's good. But in this case, it does not give me a squiggly line because these are, in fact, two different things. Yellow lines mean I'll compile your program and run it. It's not going to error out, but it's not very efficient. And actually, I don't need this info model either. See, this is really, but as a concept, a higher concept, get me a Tetris data model. Okay, here's a Tetris data model whose properties are all equal to the properties of this data extractor. It's like, well, what's the point of the Tetris data model? Kinda nothing. And this data extractor now doesn't have get lines. But it does have other properties, which we're going to have to add. So it's a Tetris data model. It actually has all of these wonderful properties. And I really, none of these are sets though. It just has gets. I really don't think this is necessary to have that get all data now. And the Tetris data model is kind of fading out in its usefulness. Oops. So what's the point of getting all data? I'm just going to get a Tetris data model with exactly these properties. I'm going to just go ahead and delete this. And here, there's no point in this. And the Tetris data model itself, see, we're now at 0 references. I just want to make sure. This is a useful toString method. So I'm going to copy this and bring it into our data extractor. Throw it down at the bottom. And that will allow us to say, hey, this Tetris data model, yeah, it's not really a thing anymore. Bye. Completely not a thing. So now, in the program here, I can still see this won't be a thing. I can't get all data, but what I can do, because the data extractor is just a wrapper now for the screenshot, I can just say, I don't have to calculate anything. I could just say, this is the data extractor made from that screenshot, and turn it into a string, please. And what's going to happen here is this is going to... Come on. Control-Alt. This is going to go to the toString method of data extractor, which is down here. And it's going to say, okay, I want the score. Well, in order to get the score, I've got to calculate it. And it's going to calculate. So simply by printing all of the properties out, I'm actually calculating them one after the other. So, okay. This won't show anything as different. We're hoping for the exact same thing. And that debug console is really small. I think that's a different setting. Debug. There we go. Huh. Okay. Okay, so let's step over this. This is fine. This is fine. This is fine. Now, at this point, nothing's been calculated. If I hover over data extractor, huh. Oh, it did calculate it. Okay. Anyway, let's do this. So it doesn't like line 179 of the data extractor. So I made a mistake here. Ah, see? If score, then return level. Well, yeah, okay. Copy paste error. There we go. And level, lines, S number. Look at that, folks. Of course, that's why it doesn't work. Okay. Saving all that, going back to program. Now let's debug it. Stepping over, stepping over, stepping over, stepping over. Oh, whoa. Ouch. Something is seriously wrong. I wonder what the issue is. So it's trying to calculate something, but I don't know where the issue lies. Okay, so let's go back to program here. What am I doing? Oh, I've hit the hour mark. That's too bad. I'm not done. Can I get the score? Let's just see if I can get the score. And I'm just gonna just Control F5, run it without debugging it. 9. My score is 9. What's my level? I can't figure out my level. How many T pieces? 8. So that's right. So something's wrong with my level. And my score thinks it's 9. Okay, so let's go back to level here. Everything looks proper. Well, that's kind of flaky. Okay, I'm going to put a breakpoint here. We are going to debug it. I actually don't know what the problem is. It shouldn't have been functionally different. Whoa! Yeah, here we go again. Can't seem to reduce my image. Parameter must be positive and less than height. My bitmap height is 20. See, here's a, I mean, technically it's a bug. I don't know why it didn't show up before. So I'm trying to find the first non-black row. And I can't seem to find it. But I assume I can find it. So is this whole thing just black? Well, let's put a breakpoint there and we'll debug this. It kind of suggests to me that I'm looking in the wrong place for my level. Level is null, so it steps over. You know what? I'm going to have to compare. So we had to stop for today. I think what's happening, because I was always using a different value for screenshot, like a new image. I think I was. I'm wondering if I'm looking at the screenshot that has been reduced. So we're going to have to figure that out next time, because I think the coordinates of my level are not showing up properly. Well, obviously they're not showing up properly, but I think I'm not looking at the right place for the level, since I'm using the same screenshot again and again and again. Same instance. It must be... Do I actually change the bitmap? No, I clone the bitmap. So what's the problem? So if I... Okay. Let's just do... So my score didn't work. My score showed me out as to be 9. I wonder if that's just a coincidence that my score actually starts with a 9. Oh, I have to stop this before I can run it again. Okay, well, we'll figure it out next time. We're going to have to, because we have to stop now. Okay, have a nice day, and we'll see you next time.